The 2025 VA disability pay increase rates are here, and they are insane. Today I'm doing a full deep dive for you to illustrate how this now has become the most powerful passive income potentially in the world. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video because you're going to fully see how this even compares to the best 6 and even 7-figure investments. I'm Jordan Anderson, VAClaimsAcademy.com. Let's dive in. Now, after this example, you're gonna know more than about 95% of people, and it's gonna let you do so much for your family. So let's say this is me right here. I'm running for office. Hey, here's some programs that I wanna implement. I need currency to spend in order to enter, actually achieve my agenda. This is the good old US of A. So here's the US government. Again, we can't print money through the US government, right? So we're out of the picture. We gotta borrow it. We gotta borrow it from the Federal Reserve, okay? So let's reset everything, and this is gonna blow your mind. Let's say that we reset everything and we only have $1 in the entire economy, just it, $1. We have to borrow that dollar into existence, okay? That's why it's called, if you look at a dollar bill, it's called a Federal Reserve note because it's actually an IOU. So we owe this dollar now, because it's a loan, back to the Federal Reserve, but not just the dollar. We also owe interest, right? It's a loan, you owe interest. So not only do we owe this dollar back, we owe another dollar, let's say, in interest. But remember, there's only $1 in the entire economy in circulation, right? Where do you even get the second dollar? Well, if your answer was you have to borrow it, you're right. We have to borrow the second dollar. Now we have $2 and we owe $4 back, so on and so forth. So you get where this is going, and that's exactly why the debt ceiling only goes up and exponentially more dollars have to be created. How does this affect you? Well, of course, if you're on a fixed pension, let's say that you worked 20 years or 30 years and you retired, you're on a fixed pension. Well, every single year, the purchasing power of your dollars, which again is just how much stuff you can buy for your dollars, is going down. It's getting lower. Your quality of life is decreasing. It's getting a little bit worse. You start to get nervous. That's what people are going through right now who have retired, and they start getting tight and tight as new dollars, are magic dusted into existence, and those now dilute the value of all the other dollars in existence. Now, here's why VA disability is special. Now, for 2025, if you're just a veteran and you have a 100% VA rating, you're going to be getting paid $3,831 per month tax-free. Now, as you can see here, if you're married, a veteran and the spouse, that goes up, and we're over the $4,000 per month range. If you annualize that, you're making $48,500 per year tax-free. Not only that, we're talking about savings on medical insurance. You're talking about multiple states, including here in Texas, where if you're a 100% rated veteran, you get 100% property tax exemption on your entire homestead. There are so many hidden, valuable benefits to being 100% disabled that truly, honestly, I really think that not only is it the best passive income in existence in America right now, I also think that for those of us, who receive it, getting it maximized could actually be the saving grace for protecting us against this inflationary beast that we're having to deal with that's sending the price of groceries, the price of living sky high. Let me show you something even crazier right now. We of course see a lot of finance, experts and gurus talking about, getting rich and all this stuff. And one of the main avenues of doing this is real estate. So let's look at what, an average maybe real estate deal could look like in terms of how much you would have to spend in order to achieve that same $4,000 per month. It's pretty insane. Now, there's typically getting a 6% return can be pretty decent in real estate. So if we had a 6% return for a rental income, that would mean that we would have to buy essentially an $800,000 house in order to generate that $4,000 per month in rental income. Now, that $4,000 per month isn't even necessarily profit. You have to deal with tenants, you have to deal with property management, expenses, maintenance, repairs. And I think you can see just how valuable that monthly income could actually be, where you have people spending almost $1 million to try to get their hands on something like that. You could think of it this way too. If I talk to you off the corner of the street and I said, hey buddy, if you just give me $20,000, I'll give you a chance at $4,000 per month or $48,000 per year for the rest of your life tax-free. You'd be like, get out of my face, scammer. There's no way. That's too good to be true. Well, it isn't, and that is just the insane value of the VA disability claim and maximizing whatever you're underrated for, because I'll tell you, most veterans who have never, retried to get their VA disability claims, most of them are underrated and a lot of them don't even know. And just the catastrophic effect that can have financially on a family is immense. So the purpose of this video is not just to give a bunch of hype, houses, Lamborghinis. It really is to fire you up and say, hey, you know what? If I'm underrated, I need to do what's best for my family, because as I showed you, there are some pressures and some headwinds going against your household. And if your service was honorable and you fulfilled your obligations, the government is supposed to fulfill theirs as well, and you need to make sure that's correct. I can't stress enough that this is not some type of government handout. I use the example all the time of a rental car, right? If you go down to a rental car company, you take out a vehicle and you ding it up, you're on the hook for that damage. And I'm sure you're not, when you turn this in, you take full responsibility, you own up, hey, you know what, I dinged this up, here's my insurance, or here, I'll pay for it, what have you. You don't go in and tell them that they're trying to get a handout for what you dinged up when it was under your custody. That's just common sense. Well, the same is true. When the government is essentially renting you, which is exactly what they're doing when you're enlisted, you have an agreement that, hey, if y'all ding me up, you're going to be on the hook for that damage and any other secondary damage or recurring effects that may have. That's just part of the agreement. So if you didn't completely mess up and didn't serve honorably or things like that, then absolutely both parties have part of the agreement to fulfill, and you should not feel bad or like you're getting a handout for getting what you deserve. I'll leave you with this one last idea, which is something that more and more vets are actually doing. It's almost a trend now after they maximize their VA disability income, and honestly, it looks like not too bad of an idea. Now, we all know that the cost of living here in the United States can be pretty high, but did you know that your VA disability income actually follows you anywhere in the world? A lot of veterans now, especially combat PTSD vets, I see them going to places like Dominican Republic, going on vacation together, kind of healing on the beach, taking a break from all the crowded, New York subways and things like this. And they're able to relax and actually heal up from the traumatic events. And guess what? That $4,000 per month goes so far in most of these other countries that they can essentially be free of the financial pressures of staying here in the United States. This is something that's termed it's called geographic arbitrage. Basically, when you go and you take those dollars and you utilize that currency exchange rate at the local country that you're in, some people do, Thailand, even Mexico, Colombia, again, like I said, Dominican Republic, and they're able to stay in these beautiful locations almost free of stress, link up with other veterans, and essentially try to look for a place to retire at these rates where, honestly, their VA disability income can allow them to live almost like royalty in this certain areas. So if that's something that wasn't on your radar before, look into it, because that might actually help you, especially if you have, mental conditions that really are aggravated by the fast-paced lifestyle here in the States. So fellow vets, 2025 is your year. If you know that you need a VA disability increase, this is your year to tackle it. I hope this gives you motivation. Hey, if you want me to personally help out with your VA disability claim, make sure you click the first link in the description below. Otherwise, like this video if it provided you some value, but definitely share it with someone who needs it, and sound off with your thoughts down below. Subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.